For the benefit of public watching, I'll outline what will happen when the Council debates the motion which is set out on the agenda paper. Firstly, the Council moving the motion will speak for up to 3 minutes. The motion will be seconded and with a speech again of up to 3 minutes. At this point, we would usually deal with amendments, but none were received this evening. Then members of the public will be given the opportunity to speak so that the Council is aware of their views before it debates the matter. The Council will then hold its debate, which gives the councillors their opportunity to discuss the motion. The movers of the motion will then have an opportunity to sum up. Please note that myself or Deputy Mayor will advise all speakers when they have 30 seconds remaining. I would ask that all speakers make their point in a respectful and civil way. So, motion 1, make care experience a protected characteristic. Councillor Carr, I believe you're going to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This motion brings to the fore several serious issues, that of identity and secondly Article 3 of the freedom of rights from torture and inhuman, degrading treatment as set out in the Human Rights Act. We have a responsibility to provide services as best as we can for all of our children, but especially those whose care we manage under the guise of corporate parenting. It is our most important role, or it should be. Most of us are lucky enough to have consistent families into our adulthood. Frequently, they do not. The children that we look after do not, with some children experiencing 20+ changes of carers during their journey through care. It should therefore be no surprise that those children currently or previously experiencing care, their families are much wider and more problematic than most. Here in MK, we do better than many other local authorities, but we still have a system under pressure, for the responsibility falls on the few. I ask those who care, if you are taking your parenting role seriously here in the room, those of us that are parents, do you really take it care? Do you pay attention when decisions are being made? Do you take time to listen and reflect on what is best? Or do you ignore the issues and play computer games instead? Of course you don't, because you're responsible parents. You're guardians that take your role very seriously. You put your children first. However, we are sometimes lacking in the way in which we play our part in corporate parenting, seeing the role as discharged to the council. It's another meeting to attend or it's something social work teams have to sort, but it is our responsibility. Every single one of us that are elected and all those officers that work here, it is our responsibility. Those that have experienced social care are often seen as damaged, challenging and often dangerous, when they should be seen as vulnerable and in need of good care. They are labelled criminals, difficult children, a strain on our mental health services and generally unable to manage in today's society. If you don't believe me, spend a day in my shoes. They are more likely to experience homelessness due to social poor skills and lack of positive attachment. They have a different understanding of the world. But they have a different understanding of the world and they share the same stigma and social standing with no national recognition. All this leaves footprints in their sand, making them vulnerable with no recognition as to their true needs as the sea of social stigma and expectations washes away their mark. Tonight we're not asking for the government to recognise corporate care as a disability or some kind of special thing. We're asking for this council to recognise the special needs of the group and to look to the Equalities Act to help us do better. This motion recognises that legislation needs to change, but why do we need to wait for legislation? Can we not recognise that abuse, followed by stigma, affects our view of ourselves, impacts on our mental health and our self-esteem? It follows that any child who has experienced early life trauma is vulnerable and likely to struggle to excel. If we are unable to recognise this...
You're actually over time. Can you just finish off, please?
Sorry, Mr Mayor, I didn't hear the 30-second warning. If we're unable to recognise this, then we need far more training. Please support the motion.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Bradburn, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I am proud to be seconding this motion tonight. Looking after and protecting children and young people is one of the most important jobs the City Council does. And tonight, all members in the Chamber have an opportunity to better support our care experienced people. Care experienced people go through life with the label of having been in care. They have adverse childhood experiences and as a result deal with stigma. Unfortunately, in extreme cases, they are refused employment, struggle with their education and experience unfair judgments about having children of their own. But children with care experience are adaptable, resilient and intelligent, and I am proud of all of them, and they would be an asset to any school, university or employer. Last month, the City Council introduced 2 full-time positions for young adults leaving care, and tonight I would like to again call on local organisations to offer similar opportunities. These are children in our city, a city where everyone deserves a fair and equal opportunity to fulfil their potential, no matter what their background, and we should protect them as much as possible. So I hope you will all support this motion this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Executive, I understand there are no public speakers tonight?
Yes, that's correct, Mayor.
Deputy Mayor, please confirm councillors who have given notice they wish to speak.
I've got D. Hopkins, Mahendran and Darlington registered.
Anybody else wish to speak? Okay, we'll start with Councillor Mahendran, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I am not a mother, despite repeatedly calling my puppy my child. I am told that doesn't count. But like everyone in this room, I'm a parent to hundreds of children. We all have a responsibility as corporate parents to look after children and care experienced children. And I just wanted to take a moment to really emphasise the issues that people who are care experienced face, because I think a lot of us are actually quite blind to that issue. They face discrimination across housing, health, education, and just in everyday life. But I've got a few statistics which I think might open people's eyes a bit. The independent review of children's social care showed that a quarter of the homeless population is care experienced. Become Charity's research showed that over 50% of people who are in custody up to the age of 21 are care experienced. Possibly most shockingly, a UCL study showed that 70% of care experienced people die early. If those were statistics facing your kids at home or the lovely baby we have here in the chamber, you would take that extremely seriously, but I feel that we don't all quite yet take our responsibility as corporate parents seriously enough. And I'm really proud of the steps that the council has taken, the fantastic work that Zoe and the rest of the team do. But I just wanted to show my support for this motion and say that as corporate parents, we should all be taking this extremely seriously.
Councillor Hopkins.
Thank you very much indeed, Mayor. Mayor, we welcome the fact that the City Council is proposing to make care experience a protected characteristic and is, as a consequence, updating its local offer to care leavers. We have always supported the all-party work designed to continually update our council offer to care leavers, that proposition, through the provision of additional support and services being made available for city care leavers, and through the focused hard work of the corporate parenting panel. Hopefully, once approved this evening, the care experience will be added as an additional characteristic to Milton Keynes and will, as a consequence, be given the same protection as other protected characteristics under the Equality Act 2010, such as age, disability, race, religion and others. We must not forget, of course, that we are on a journey regarding the delivery of children's services at Milton Keynes City Council. There is work still to be done in line with the most recent Ofsted report to demonstrate consistency in the delivery of the highest quality service, as well as 3 other major areas for improvement which were highlighted by Ofsted. However, as part of the outcomes of this motion this evening, and as an enhancement to the local offer that we as corporate parents oversee, care leavers should benefit from additional support from this council, for example, and potentially with the purchasing of laptops and mobile phones, free driving lessons, discounts and savings at major retailers, and in many, many other ways. Thus, the motion should start to strengthen still further the strong support offered to care leavers that is already in place at this council. Mayor, care experienced people often face discrimination and stigma across housing, health, education, and in all too many other areas. We do not want this to happen in Milton Keynes. And here we can indeed all make a difference. As corporate parents, we are all responsible, as we've already heard, and as we all know. We are responsible for providing the best possible care for all children and young people looked after by this authority. The Council has already made important steps, including having strong and focused support for care leavers policies in place. However, as a Council continually looking to continually improve, we must always strive to do more. Making care experience a protected characteristic will mean council services and policies should be updated to give special consideration to residents who have experienced care. The council should also work with, educate and encourage local organisations. Thank you. Local organisations across the city to do more to support care experienced people, including by adopting the corporate parenting principle much more broadly. I'm going to ask if I can have a few more seconds, actually, Mayor. I've spoken quite slowly. But by us all committing...
10 seconds.
Thank you. I'll need more than that. To provide all this support, we are demonstrating that we are, each and every one of us, firmly committed to help care experienced young people to build a prosperous, healthy and happy future. I know that I speak for the whole council when I say we will continue to be on their side. And to this end, we should now consider designating, in my opinion, one councillor as the Milton Keynes City Council Care Leaver Champion, to oversee that the care experience is indeed a protected characteristic, as well as scrutinising the additional support the council needs to provide to care leavers through this latest updated local offer to care leavers. I'm going to skip a bit now. To ensure that the momentum follows on from this motion, such a care leaver champion should meet up with the council to discuss the focus of this motion, to ensure that, for example, accommodation is not a barrier to care leavers, and to explore other opportunities focusing on sufficiency, such as encouraging developers to contribute towards their local community when they are taking advantage of the opportunities they enjoy when developing in our city. Mayor, by working together, we can get the change we need, and we are pleased to support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Hopkins. And finally, Councillor Darlington.
I apologise for my sneezes earlier. As with the rest of the residents in the city and across the country, we're all suffering from hay fever. So, pardon? Oh, just like this one. I know, I'm afraid it's hit me hard. So I'm really pleased to be able to support this motion, not just as a corporate parent, but also as a children and care champion. One of the areas I really want to focus on is we do support these children when they're children, but often this discrimination and additional things comes to the fore, those of care experience, once they leave being a child in care. We've had some enormous and brilliant success stories here in Milton Keynes of the achievements of some of our children in care, and not least one of our children in care was accepted at Oxford. Two, stand corrected, 2. But we've got to recognise that that's not the experience for most people who have care experience, and certainly not for some of those that are much older. So we have been making changes. One of the significant changes that we have made is that transition from being a child in care to an adult with care experience, ensuring that they don't miss out on the mental health, going from the children's mental health support to the adult mental health support. We've rewritten our housing allocations policy, and it puts children in care, care leavers and care experience right at the top of the allocations policy. And I know that each and every one member of the Cabinet has looked at how their area can continue to support, as corporate parents, those with care experience. We can't, just as we wouldn't say to our own children, oh, you're 18, that's it, we no longer have responsibility for you. We have a different kind of responsibility, a moral responsibility, to ensure that those with care experience continue to be able to live successfully in Milton Keynes and achieve their ambitions. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Carr, would you like to sum up?
Thank you, Mayor. And welcome tonight's cross-party support. I think this says an awful lot about the council and how we feel about our young people. But tonight we have a chance to do something to build a safety net in MK, so that our children have a chance to be recognised, a chance for them as adults to have the hope that society will see the real person, not the stigma. By standing up for our children, we show our commitment, and we influence other agencies to see the unconscious bias that surrounds children previously looked after. We may not be able to stop the sea of stigma alone, but together we can guide our children to walk further up and higher up the beach. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any councillors wish to dissent or abstain? I don't know, are we agreed? Agreed. Thank you. At this point, I would normally offer an adjournment, but we are quite close to finishing the meeting. What's the feeling of the meeting? Do you want to carry on? I figured that may be the response. Okay, item 7 is a report on amendment to terms of reference